This is probably one of the most confusing concept of music, the chord progression. You have to know the harmony, you have to understand the melody, you have to understand the scales, you have to understand different progressions. It's extremely confusing, and if you take a look at the videos on YouTube with those all these piano tutorials, then you will get even more confused with different really advanced concepts. But most of the time actually you don't need to go so into the details to build your own chord progression. There are a couple of simple tricks that you can utilize, and they can get you quite far if you just understand how they work. So we will be just taking a look at how to build a melody, a simple melody, and build a chord progression on top of that. So I promise I will keep it extremely simple, and you will be happy after the video, or you will be able to come up with your own chord progression in a couple of minutes. But before we start with the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button so that you get the notifications when we make a new video like this. Other than that, let's go to Ableton over there. So I have prepared kind of a simple drum loop over here so that we have a groove going on, so take a look. So it's really not that important. The topic of this video is actually the chords, so let's get a SERUM. Put it over here. And I'm just gonna activate the filter so that we don't destroy all your ears with a lot of high end, basically. So the idea is actually simple. The first we have to decide actually what type of tune that we are going to use. Well, I mean by the tune actually I mean which scale that we are going to use. I will just suggest F minor because it will more or less work most of the time. So let's be safe and go for the F minor. If you don't know how to you can create the scales, actually for the minor scales it's super easy. Major scales are super easy as well. For the minor one, you should go 2 half notes and then 1 half notes, and 2 half notes, 2 half notes, 1 half notes, and again 2 half notes. And this is your F minor. So what we are going to do afterwards, just copy, and let me turn this off, copy and paste so that we have whole scale. This will help us a lot later on. And same thing, I think that is more or less enough to begin with. So what we are going to do later on, we are just going to move this here and fold it. Here we go. Now we have the F minor notes over here, so we don't need to worry about too much if we are playing the right note or the wrong note. While you are making your chord progression, you don't need to make whole chord progression at once. You have to just find the melody to start with. So we are going to find our root notes for our chord progression. The easiest way to do that, if you don't have any, for example, MIDI keyboard or Ableton Push or anything like that, you can basically do it by activating this one and starting clicking those guys over here. So like this, right? You can hear the notes. So let's start with the F. Maybe something like this. And then you can try to come up with a melody like this. So we play F, and then and so on and so on. So in this case, I will try something like this. So let's try it and see if this melody is actually sounding nice. And it's a good idea to loop this one so that we are just playing the same loop over and over again. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to just use a 4 bars loop. So this will be just enough for our case. The second thing that you have to do once you create your melody, let's say this is our melody, you have to put the 5th note right afterwards. So you can actually just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go, the first 5th. Same thing again here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, this is your power chords, and this can't be wrong, more or less, if that makes sense. So if we play it again. Simple and effective. At this point, we are going into the territory of flavoring the notes. So what you are going to do, you are going to put the third note and then put it on the 1 octave above. So if you click on Shift and up in your keyboard, it will push it on the 1 octave above. So the same thing over here. We are just following the simple rules at the moment. So we spread the chords so it will sound a bit wider than what it should be. So if we try. And this is the part actually you should now start trying some different alternatives. And the trick here that is more or less works most of the time is actually playing with the third note. So we took the third notes, put that on 1 octave above. Now we can actually move them around and see actually rather than using the third, we can maybe use the 7th or 6th or 9th or whatever it is and try to come up with a contra melody, because our own melody or main melody is this. And it goes up, 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 and then down. So what I will try now, we go up and down. So we can try to alternate this note, for example, and see if we can come up with another melody. So this too is not following the original melody, so it will create a nice contrast. Let's try again. At this part, what I would suggest oftentimes, you can actually put your main melody, so this guys, 1 octave below as well, so that you even spread the notes further on the scale. So what I'm going to do, put this one here, C here, C sharp here, and D sharp here. One more time. At the moment it's a bit too loud, by the way. Let's turn the volume down, maybe just here. Something like this. Let's go back to chord progression. So one thing that I would suggest at this point to you when you are building your chord progression, take a look at the chords that actually continues in different bars. So we have the case for C here. You see we have C over there and C over there. Just extending this chord or this note like this will give a smoother movement on the chord. So if you try again. So at this point it comes, so you can start actually also moving or playing around with this kind of boring bar, 1 bar, 1 bar, 1 bar, 1 bar variation. You can change it to maybe quarter bar over here and see if you can make something different. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this one short and try to come up with something different. Or maybe go up. Let's try. I think we need something like this, a bit faster. Let's try. Much better. So we can try the same thing over here. Let's make it this one shorter again, and we can try the similar trick over here. Let's go down this time so that we have this nice contrast over here and over there. So as you can see, we are always looking for this nice contrast, like between different part of the chord progression or between different notes in the same chord. I feel like I can even use the same thing over here. So let's put something like, maybe go down here like this. this is more or less good to go. So at this point, you can definitely come up with different movements. If you can try, for example, here or there, you can try to move or create even more counter melodies. But be careful about putting too much counter melodies, then it may start sounding dissonant. So I think this was good enough to start with. What we are going to do at this point, we are going to put another oscillator and put it 1 octave above or below. So let's try. And of course, we would like to have also a bit contrast between different oscillators. So this one is the sawtooth, right? Let's try something else on this one. What I'm going to do, start with the EQ. I don't want all these super low ends, so we will have this kind of smoother low end. And now we can make the sound a bit wider so that it spreads even wider on our headphones or in our speakers. So what we are going to do, we basically activate Unison. Let's start with the 4th, because this is like higher on the octave, so it will be brighter, so it will be easier to hear when we detune it. And let's put some movement on this detune here. Slower. And let's put a Unison here as well, but make it a bit smaller. And I would like to also start playing with a bit reverb at this point. And let's put some movement on the cutoff as well. So I want to have this kind of build up on the cutoff, more like a sawtooth shape. Of course, I want it slower, maybe 2 bars. And when the cutoff opens, we can even put some delay so that it gives this kind of nice ping pong on the rights when the cutoff opens. So let's try. We can put even similar for here on the mix. I feel like this is just overkill. Let's remove this one and just play like this. And of course, Chord is most of the time gives this kind of nice detune and nice stereo to the sounds. We can try this one on top of this as well. And of course, a little bit post distortion parallel processed. And finally, of course, I would like to have a compressor sidechain to the kick so that we have this nice groove going on. And let's put in the full loop. Yeah, and you can definitely automate the cutoff and open this up while you are going. And I think that was it for today's video. I hope it was helpful to understand how the chord progression works and how you can actually enhance it with the different parameters in your synthesizer. And if you like the video, don't forget to hit that like button as well, so that will help a lot. Other than that, I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.